Warrior Queenie had a peep over the right shoulder, and she's going to blow them away. But Northerly, Danny Miller pumping away, and Northerly wins the railway.
Welcome to Racing Rewind. Our panel will review and digest the Prime WA Saturday Thoroughbred meeting from 24 hours earlier. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571.
Galaxy Star draws away from them. Pike Magician.
Yes, welcome along, Racing Rewind. Michael and Lockie are in the studios. Good morning, lads.
Good morning, Marty, Michael, and listeners. Good to be back. I feel like it's been a while since all three of us have been together.
I think first time in this studio, isn't it?
Yeah. Good morning, boys. Morning, listeners. You had the virus last week, Mark.
Yeah, it's come down with the virus.
Yeah, right. You bounced
Been
back.
hanging around too. I won't leave me.
Had the nebulizer on. Got yourself back on track.
Had everything going. I'm still no. I'm not running out today. No.
How'd you go yesterday?
One bet, one win. 100%. Don't you listen to Straight Up, you bloke?
Which horse?
Yeah.
Which horse?
Probably the most exciting horse that went around there yesterday, so you work it out.
Objectifier.
Yes. Oh, you labelled it from the yard too.
Yep. Yeah,
I heard that.
Nice
So now
filly.
you're both giving yourself a polish. Unbelievable.
What a horse, Let's Gallivant, though.
Yeah.
Clearly the highlight of the day. He's now won over $830,000 for a $10,000 purchase and just continues to raise the bar. First time out to 2,000 metres yesterday. Weight for age at the beginning of this campaign, you would have said that would have been a query for him, but he just doesn't know how to run a bad race. As soon as he gets a reasonable run throughout, you just know he's going to give his all. And, yeah, now that he's got that little bit older, at the beginning of his career, he looked like a 1,200-metre horse. Then he looked like a 1,400-metre one-paced horse that would just grind his way out on top of the speed. Last start was a super effort over a mile, and then yesterday he ran out 2,000 metres the strongest. So.
Yeah, well, 12 months ago he couldn't get a mile, and then he ended up winning a Northern Cup in the spring over the 1,600 metres, and since then he's just gone from strength to strength off speed and hitting the line brilliantly. And I didn't actually know until yesterday that the Southwest Autumn Cup is a set weights and penalties race. So it's previously been a handicap, hasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's changed the program now. I think it used to be a lead up to the Bunbury Cup, but now it's 2 weeks after yesterday with the Strickland and set weights and penalties. So if he was to progress that way, he would actually be comparatively really well weighted compared to the rest of the field, because if any of the horses from yesterday go there, he'd probably be meeting them just as well.
Yep. Big news from the stewards room.
Yes, absolutely. 2 suspensions out of the meeting. Firstly, Holly Watson. She is to commence a 10-day suspension as of midnight last night. So she's...
Works out well. She's off to New Zealand, isn't she?
I'm not sure.
Yes, they are next week, actually.
Oh, well, there you
Mitch
go.
and Holly.
Yeah.
Good timing, Holly.
One of Mitch's old tricks. He's taught her well.
And Willie Pike, that's the big suspension out of the meeting. He received his 10-day suspension for his ride on Celebrity Prince in the last. Obviously got Chris Nickel and Kalima along the inside, but he will commence that at midnight this following Saturday.
So his Raconteur Stakes ride is likely to be who?
I'm not sure.
Belmont Guineas, sorry.
I'm not sure, because he rode Richenko in the Raconteur, who was scratched late. Pat Carberry has had an association with a filly like Love and War, but obviously that's in the Cerise and White. Now, Willie Pike, he doesn't have the association that he perhaps used to with Peter's investments in those horses, so I'm not sure whether he's potentially trying to get back on one of Bob's. Who knows? But
he must have something.
He's clearly waiting for the Belmont Guineas, and then he can take his suspension after that.
Yep. Okay, let's hit the Retrovision text line 0427 789 571 and get those Sunday saviours rolling in. They're looking pretty good. They're on track at the moment. Morning, boys. I started the day well with Kripalenko yesterday. Wow. I was then given the strong tip of Let's Gallivant by my mate, which I ignored and told him he was a clown. How wrong I was. Paid for it in the ear for the rest of the day. Impressive run by Ginger Green first up. We'll be jumping on next time. That is Greg L. Very good morning, Greg. Good to hear you backing winners. Kripalenko, we'll get to it soon, but...
Greg Buglehold
isn't he doing good job with them.
There's only about 4 horses and they all just keep winning.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Brad Short of Maylands, who's been in terrific form. He was on the Ray Malpass 4-timer there at Carnarvon on Friday. Can the boys give me their thoughts on what next for Western Empire? Does it give Melbourne away and stay in WA for Pinnacle Carnival?
Well, I spoke to Grant a couple of weeks ago and they had all but ruled a line towards Melbourne after the Hyperion. So that was a no-go even prior to yesterday where he went under as a $1.40 favourite. So that was always a no. For mine, I think it's, the next logical decision is to now give him a break. The good thing about our Perth Carnival is that it's later in the year, so we're in the middle of June now. You can still give your horse a reasonable break before the Summer Carnival. And as we were just discussing off-air, they won a Northerly. Back then it was a Kingston Town with a horse like Regal Power in a similar situation from a handicapping perspective where he went into that race a month between runs. I think he may have even had a trial in between and then won that Northerly. So he could race in a railway as top weight, but I think most likely he'll target a Lastia and then into a Northerly at weight for age and then potentially a Van Himpst over 2,100 metres. But I thought it was interesting to note that Willie Pike said that perhaps he's best suited at those shorter trips.
And 100%, I don't think he would progress to a Van Heeps, to be honest. We saw his run in the Joey first up over 1,200 metres for the Team Williams. He should have won that race. He was electric. He then won the Northern Sprint. He then won the Belmont Sprint over 1,400, and he probably peaked late, if anything, in the Hyperion over a mile. So I don't think he'd be... certainly wouldn't be going any further than the 1,800 metres of a Northerly, I wouldn't think. But I had a good chat to Grant yesterday as well. Interviewed him for the Races WA and spoke to him off-air prior to the race. And it just sounds like maybe the preparation hasn't gone to plan since that Belmont Sprint win. And I'm pretty confident the horse will be better second time around back in the system. This is the first time they've had the horse back in. It was a faultless preparation going in. First 2 or 3 runs went to plan. Since then, things haven't gone right. And that was before yesterday's run where he was beaten, that I was speaking to him. So I just think I'd be sticking fat with Western Empire, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him next prep come through and really fulfill that.
So that's
potential.
it for this prep?
Absolutely,
yeah. Absolutely.
And potentially the spring. Well, I think he'll confirm.
Potentially the spring?
Well... I guess he'll...
He's trying to create some headlines now.
Clickbaiting.
He's out for 12 months.
No.
But we had a great interview with Grant on Drive one day, and he said they were nursing issues with him, intestinal issues, and...
Well, he's an older horse now, isn't he?
He's an older horse.
He's been around the block, so there's naturally going to be a bit of wear and tear.
I think a lot of times with those issues, when you really have to put in at the end of races, that's when they go, hang on, this is hurting.
Exactly.
And that's what I get the feeling. Once he told me that, and then I went back and looked at the previous run and then at this run, and I thought, that makes a bit of sense.
And the more you go up in distance, the more it probably shows its head, doesn't it? But no, not to say that he's out for the spring, but I think that's the decision they had to make, is whether they give him a little break and then come back for the spring, or whether they give him a good break and aim up at some serious races next year.
Okay. Quick one from Mark from Embleton, and then we'll get into it. Was talk yesterday that Let's Gallivant will go over east as a travelling partner to Accra Manchella, which I think Ben said in that post-race interview with you.
He did.
Why would you bother? Let's Gallivant was the railway and has the railway and Northerly at his mercy, and you could pencil him in for a top 5 finish in both. I wouldn't be taking him anywhere. That is Mark from Embleton.
Well, there you go. It's an interesting take. I think that's what the boys are weighing up over the next few days. Do they go to the Southwest Autumn Cup? I'd be surprised if they didn't go to that race in a couple of weeks' time, just knowing the type of horse he is. He just seems to excel in racing. There's no use putting a horse like him in the paddock. He's a gelding. And then, whether they go east or potentially have a few runs east and then come back for a railway, that's possible as well. Time will tell.
The boom stayer at the moment, of course, is Fat Roy Slim, and Fat Roy Slim's an 84 rater, and I'm assuming would get 50. This is without looking at the conditions of the race, but I'd say 55 kilos. Let's Gallivant went into yesterday as a 106, so he'll probably go to a 110, a 109 because it's a weight for age race. So there's going to be a good probably 22, 25 points between them, and probably only 3 or 4 kilos. So who would you be choosing in that race?
Okay, let's kick it off. The Amelia Park Plate for the 2-year-olds over the 1,400 metres.
3 deep the duration. Exceed the Planet down on the inside in a commanding spot at the top of the home straight, followed further back then by Elite Missile. 300 to go. Noah Quintilli, the leader. Street Band, the danger. Exceed the Planet getting right up on the inside, and now here comes Elite Missile. 4 across the track. Elite Missile grabbed the lead. It's Elite Missile with 120 to go. Booting away now from Exceed the Planet on the inside. Street Band battles away, but it's Elite Missile first up. Elite Missile won from Exceed.
Good win this by the Smart Missile 2-year-old. Just sat behind him, switched around heels and went bang. Beat Exceed the Planet. Street Band, no luck. Trap wide throughout.
Absolutely, Marty. Elite Missile. I've always had plenty of time for this horse, and it was nice to see him salute for his first career win yesterday. First up at 1,400 metres. You don't often see that with the 2-year-olds, but he'd had the benefit of 2 trials in the lead up to yesterday's first up run, and in those trials he just looked like he wanted ground, and even in his first campaign as a 2-year-old, those shorter trips, 11 and 1,200 metres, he was always just chasing that little bit off the bridle, but with the benefit of a break and just getting out over a little bit further, he was much more comfortable in the run. He travelled really nicely, and at the top of the straight, you only wanted to be on one horse, and that horse was Elite Missile. What S does with him from here? Post-race, he said that he'd like to give him another run, potentially over 1,400 metres as well, but ultimately, he has one eye on the Summer Carnival, and he's going to be a horse that is really going to improve with more racing, because he is still a little bit immature. Not so much physically, but maybe just mentally and in terms of his racing manners. He really does want to race him into some real top form.
Yeah, I guess it's an interesting one with the 1,400 metre distance, because we don't often see that during the 2-year-old season. And I'm just having a look now, and there is nothing in the next 3 Saturdays more than 1,200 metres for a 2-year-old race.
That's bad. That's bad programming.
It's... Yeah, so... you
can't have horses finding the line well over 1,400 metres for the first time and not have another one
it happens
2 or 3 weeks later.
It happens a lot with that crossover from Ascot to Belmont. It's been happening for years.
Saturday, I don't know if they've even had a 1,400 metres other than the size in the 2-year-old races, though. So Saturday the 22nd is 1,000. Saturday 29th is 1,200. Saturday the 6th is 1,000. Saturday the 13th is 1,000. So they're in a bit of trouble there. I dare say he may have to either go against older company or to have a little break. But either way, I think he's a serious horse, certainly a WA Guineas type. He's shown a lot of ability when last in work, and he always looked like a type that would furnish into his 3-year-old season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does over the next 6 months. Outside of that, David Harrison's horse hit the line quite well, ended up settling last and found the line really well into about 5th placing. That's the horse that probably caught my eye over the late stages, but from the Beaton Brigade, just behind Elite Missile, I thought Street Band was super tough, 3 wide, no cover. Exceed the Planet split those 2 and finished off really well after missing the kick on debut. And Noah Quintilli battled on well, but the 1,400 metres probably just saw him out.
Exactly right. Street Band was the beaten favourite, as you touched upon, just had no luck, 3 deep, no cover throughout, but still was brave and good to run into 3rd, but he's off for a break now, and I suspect he'll be aimed up at a WA Guineas as well.
Okay, so that is that. We're about to move on to race number 2. Before we do, quick one from the text line. Razor from Collie. This is an important one for you here, Michael. Apologies if I missed it at the start of the show, but how did the track play in Heaton's opinion, Michael's opinion?
Not Lochie's?
He did say Heaton.
Thanks, Ray.
No, I thought the track played quite well. We saw that horse Ollie's Choice. They didn't go fast at all that race, but he led, and initially I thought they were making good ground down the middle part of the track, but then climbed on top, stuck to the rail, came from full back the fence, and...
Looked fair.
Sorry?
That looked fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I think whichever way you look at it, there were horses settling on speed, horses coming from off speed, and even a horse like Celebrity Prince sort of ducked back towards the inside in the last race. So I thought it was a really fair pad for probably what's that been, 2 or 3 weeks in a row where you can't put a fault in the track at the moment.
Race number 2 was the Renew Waroa Membership Handicap over the 1,000 metres.
Divine Belief is second, Rock This Town third, Kripolenko running fourth, Rumour Says getting right up on the inside as they'd fan for home, then Rupert's Empire, Double Spice, Pot Shot, Birch Like Bruce has wobbled right out towards the centre of the track from Divine Belief, Rumour Says over towards the rail, Kripolenko running on, Birch Like Bruce, he's got the wobbly boots on, Birch Like Bruce still in front, Kripolenko coming, Birch Like Bruce holding on from Kripolenko, who'll dive at it right on the line, Kripolenko's just won from a very, very wayward Birch Like Bruce.
You beauty. Kripolenko wins and continues this dominant run of form for Greg Buglehole, and Jason Whiting isn't the fish in a nice bit of touch. Mum's bank account can't get under $100 at the moment.
I was about to say
topped
that.
Up.
Your mum would be making an absolute fortune continuing to back the fish over the last couple of months, but another terrific ride. Had an awkward alley to overcome, barrier 8 of 8, and found the one out, one back position, and from there Kripolenko travelled into the race okay. He looked like he was in a little bit of trouble at the 500 metre mark, but I just think the tempo of this race was really on. It was really hot throughout, but this horse, he was nice and strong late. That was his third win over the 1,000 metre journey. With the way he found the line, I wouldn't say that 1,200 metres is beyond him, but funnily enough, Greg Buglehole in his post-race interview suggested that coming into yesterday's run, this was going to be his last run before the horse went to the paddock and the trainer went to the paddock as well. He thought he was in need of a break, but after he won in such great style, he may have to go for one more run, and Greg might be working for a couple more weeks. So time will tell, but Greg has been doing a great job with his team over the last couple of months, and Kripolenko has been the flag bearer for that.
5 wins from 12 rides for the fish this week.
He's had a terrific week. Yeah. Bruce, back to trials?
Yes, so he's done that a couple of times and veered out and been quite wayward, so he is a recidivist. He's a repeat offender, but he was still a really good effort over the 1,000 metres. That's the first time he's ever raced over 1,000 in his career, so on the fresh side.
And was able to lead.
Yeah, so he's since they've ridden him for speed, just pure and utter speed, he's been really effective his last couple of preparations. Just needs to get his manners under control, but all honours to Kripolenko, and I like the chances of Costume Party. Rumour Says going into yesterday and jumped a little bit better, but was still not that clean out of the machine, and hit the line okay, but I think once she learns to actually jump and put herself into a position, she'll be a much better horse. Pot Shot ran home in the fastest or second fastest closing sectionals, was a good effort, but the disappointment was clearly Divine Belief, who appeared to get the right run, was outside of Boots Like Bruce in running, and Boots obviously went down narrowly, and Divine Belief's run came to an end at probably the 200 metre mark.
Needed? What did you think? You looked at it in the yard.
Yeah, she David's horses are sometimes hard to get a handle on, but like from the yard I've noticed, but I thought she was good enough, like for a first up run. She went into it without a trial, but clearly she did need. I did tip against her. I tipped Rumour Says, but Divine Belief, you'd like to think she would improve off of that, but probably would have liked to see her run third or fourth, or stick on a little bit better rather than fifth, 3 lengths. I
thought she was really playing. I have a really big opinion of her.
Yeah. It's only 1,000 metres.
I really thought that she was going to go there and just get the job done, and in stylish fashion as well. I didn't think it was going to be close in the finish. I thought she might be able to win with something in hand. So with my opinion of the mare, I thought she was very, very disappointing there yesterday.
Bar plates came off yesterday. She is a mare that has battled feet issues previously. You just wonder whether that's sort of holding her back at the moment.
Yeah, starting to harrow during the week. He's saying he's having a devilish run at the moment. Things not going right for him. I noticed Bondi Bubbles pulled up sore too later on in the program, so he's probably just going through a run of outs, as we like to say. On to race number 3, the WA Spirit of Racing Awards. Nominations now open over the 1,650 metres.
The fence, 2 lengths, Dessonay under pressure. Then Demolish, Loose Box, Mojo Rhythm. Ollie's Choice had plenty to offer here at the top of the straight there. He's in second gear, seemingly, as Pike starts to shake him up, and Ollie's Choice drew a length and a half to Pompeii. 2 lengths away then, Rusty Dreams, Dessonay and Admiration Express. Ollie's Choice down by the 100 clear. It's Ollie's Ollie's Choice by 2. Dessine, the only immediate danger, but there is none. And it's all the way for Ollie's Choice. Ollie's Choice beat Dessine. Admiration Express, third from Demolish, who...
Talk about horses that get on a run and get moving. This is one. 4 in a row now. I remember we spoke with, I think it was Dan, one afternoon on Drive, so it was
50-50.
like the Tuesday. Yeah. It could well have been Ben. Don't worry about that.
Was it Cole?
We said, well, what's your best tomorrow? And he said, look, I think it's Ollie's Choice, and this was when it won its first of these 4. And yes, from then on, it's just gone bang, 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 bang.
Yep, he is absolutely flying. And yesterday, he had to do it a different way. He begun much better than he has been throughout this campaign, and there was just a real lack of early speed in the first 100 metres, and Ollie's Choice. I love Willie Pike's relationship with this horse.
Is it Pike?
I think so. And how he speaks about him, he says that the horse, I just have to let him do whatever he wants. And that's exactly what the case was yesterday. He found the front, rolled along at an even tempo, I would say. I don't think he gave much chance to those back in the field, but Ollie's Choice, he's just a horse in serious form. He was an 85 rater going into yesterday. He probably goes to 89 or 90 after yesterday's win. And in the post-race interview, there was still a few things to weigh up. Potentially a tilt at a Hannans in Kalgoorlie. Potentially the likes of an Asian Beau en route towards a railway in the Summer Carnival. But Michael, you have some news for us.
It still has to be decided, but at this stage, he's likely just to go to the paddock and come back for a railway stakes preparation, I'd say. Thus, speaking to Dan and Ben yesterday, that was the initial thought in the aftermath, that you'd come back and aim up at a race like the Asian Beau, and there's a couple of options to get into the railways in there. There's the Peters the week before, 1,500
metres. I said a couple of weeks ago, I think the Peters is the perfect race for a horse like Ollie's Choice, and I think the interesting thing that the boys will be weighing up and the owners will be weighing up over the next week or so is, will Pike be able to stick? Because carnival time, he is the man in demand, and we've seen this horse's form just grow length with Pike aboard, and it appears as though the two of them just gel so well together. But
that's a good point.
It'd be a shoo-in to be able to get Pike in a Hannans. Pike isn't going to be able to get a better ride in the Hannans, but could he potentially hop off throughout a Summer Carnival?
But we just spoke to Dan, and the first thing he said about it was 11th start this campaign. And that resonated with me a little bit.
But he looks pretty good, in my opinion. I think he's worth tipping out and coming back for a Summer Carnival.
Well, I reckon by that he's preempting not going to Kalgoorlie.
Yeah. The turnaround isn't long enough for a horse that's had 11 starts
and
this
a horse
campaign.
that hasn't won a black type race yet, even though he's up in the ratings, he'd get in well into a Carbine Club over, which is set weights and penalties, which is the same day as a railway stake. So without deciding it yet, in my opinion, you'd be going to an Asian Beau, and if things didn't measure up in terms of a railway stakes assault, you can always go to a Carbine, which is set weights and penalties, and he'd be hard to beat there.
Did Let's Gallivant run second in a Carbine? Did he win a Carbine?
Won a Carbine, beat Magnificent Andy.
Yeah,
there you go.
He won it last year, so... but it just goes to show earlier in the preparation when Ollie's Choice was just so luckless, which a lot of it was due to his own fault, but just kept drawing wide and being wide throughout in runs as well. He actually produced the run of the meeting about 3 or 4 times, and sometimes when that happens, you almost jump off because you just think it's not going to happen. But since Pike has jumped on, he's just gone bang, 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 and he's a pretty serious horse, Ollie's Choice. But interestingly, the other 1,650-metre race yesterday was the one taken out by Antique Miss, where Stormlord led them up. Ollie's Choice actually went quicker.
Yeah, okay.
So it wasn't by much, but it was a bit deceiving. So he actually looked as though he was doing it easy and at a steady tempo, but it wasn't as slow as what I thought. So that's another good sign in itself. But from the Beaton Brigade, Dessine was a better run. Admiration Express was a much better run. Just a lack of races around, I think, for those couple of horses at the moment. They're tricky to place, but Rusty Dreams, don't like saying it, but I just don't think she's come up this preparation for the 2 runs this time in. I couldn't have found an excuse for her first up or second up yesterday.
Well, it's been an interesting campaign. She was first up at 12 with 60 on her back, and then straight to 16.50 yesterday. Even though she won the Belmont Guineas last year, and even a Starstruck last campaign, I've never really touted her as an out-and-out miler. Maybe she is, but maybe she just needs to have a more conventional preparation where she goes from 1200, finds a line over 14 and then goes to the mile third up. Perhaps she was just in need of the run there yesterday, but yeah, as you touched upon, it's an awkward ratings band for a few of these horses, and there might not be many more races for her moving forward. I may have even heard our mate on Straight Up, McGinnity, say that this would be her last run before going out for a break.
Rusty?
Yeah, and then coming back for the summer carnival. So
the mares races?
Yeah. Were you listening to that?
What are you looking at me for?
You were on the show, so that's why.
You were steering the ship, Martos.
I was hoping you'd
I drift off a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
You know that.
I do like Rusty Dreams as a horse ridden cold as well. She was sort of had to be used up there yesterday, leaders back, stepping up to a mile, as you mentioned, so probably contradicting myself now, but I think the preparation just hasn't gone right in terms of distances and everything like that, but perhaps as a more of a ridden cold type of mare, we can see the best of her. And Pompey was the other horse I wanted to touch on. Disappointing from the breeze.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
They approach the turn, 400 left to go. Boab Boy out wider on the course from Ginger Green, the top weight. Then Fortune's Luck, Bred to Flirt. Climb on top, hugs the rail. Nero King well back with DT. Birds the word by the 250, still clear. Here's El Patron. It cut loose and joined it now. Elbow Lounge runs on. Fortune's Luck, Ginger Green running on. El Patron joined over on the outside by Elbow Lounge. Climb on top. Here's a great go. Where do you look? It's on the rails. Climb on top, driving through with El Patron. El Patron, Climb on top. They were right across the...
Yeah, deceptive little finish, but up on the inside, Climb on top for Pike and Dan and Ben Pearce at Oakland Park. Get the money.
Pike at his very best, back towards the inside. Interesting. Ben Pearce was very confident that this horse could run a race, and I think the team and punters alike have just learnt that this horse just doesn't go on a wet track. Back on a firming surface there yesterday. Was very, very good up the rail. I guess Willie Pike, it was a terrific ride in the sense that he saved every single inch of ground, and that was the difference between winning and losing in the end. But moving forward, Climb on top of the ground, tick. If there's sting out, be very, very wary. He potentially heads to the 1,400-metre final in a couple of weeks' time, provided that there is no rain, and if that's the case, he'll be thereabouts.
Yeah, he should be, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because Demerits generally handle the wet, don't they? And he's a big, strong horse, but I think the 1,400 metres would be right up his alley. I do think, though, that he's a tricky horse in the sense that he looks like he wants further, but I don't think he's a miler or anything like that. I think he might just be one of those get-back sprinters, but 1,400 metres in a fortnight's time should be right in his wheelhouse, but this is such an open race. The field there yesterday, you went into it thinking there were probably... So 8 or 9 genuine winning chances, and it's going to be a full field as well, you'd imagine, in that final. So it's hard to be suggesting follows out of this race because they're all probably heading to the same race. But I did think El Patron was a really, really brave run. It was a good ride by Luke Campbell. Bird's the word, the stablemate to the winner. Had to do a bit of work early, but then found the front, and is better on a wet track as well. So going to that race in a fortnight, I guess, from the Pierce stable point of view, if it does rain, it suits Bird's the word. If it doesn't, it suits Climb on top. So it's probably not a bad position to be in. Ginger Green was a really nice run on the fresh side there. Hit the line brilliantly, ran home in the second fastest closing sectionals. And Elbow Lounge has been going really well. Beautiful looking horse, ripping tight, but probably only fair there in all due respect. He's gets a lot of weight in Class 1s. He drops in weight in a Westmead Platinum and didn't quite level up, so I think he's maybe caught between those type of classes at the moment, or until the penny drops with him at least anyway. Yeah,
I thought he was only fair yesterday. Had every possible chance from Jason Whiting from that low draw and was only fair late. Wasn't beaten far in what was an open race. He was beaten a length, but he was really well backed into $3.60 favouritism. So for mine, I'll just put him to one side until he proves me otherwise.
Fortune's Luck drew wide, went back. Nero King drew wide, went back first up. Both made, I guess, fair late ground. Probably didn't make a huge impression, but weren't bad efforts.
Okay, on to race number 5, the free entry.
There was a couple of ones I wanted to touch on, which I just remembered about. Platinum.
Team player.
Bred to Flirt and Platinum Class, replay watchers on those two, they did not get an ounce of luck. They both had to be restrained heavily and went to the line untested. I thought they were much better runs than reads on paper, and if they went to different races next start, they could get under the guard. They ran 12th and 13th.
Okay, worth looking at. Bred to Flirt, Platinum Class back in the field. Race number 5, the free entry to Belmont Park handicap over the 1650.
8 run coming up towards the home tour corner. Imperialised next over on the outside. Going forward now is Antique Miss. Back in the middle, Reliable Queen. Striking fella going right up along the rail. At the 250 metre mark, and Antique Miss cut loose, dashes up, hits the lead. Antique Miss races clear now. More than 2.5 beat the Bro. Back behind them came Making Profits, followed by Super Romany. But it's all over bar the shouting. Antique Miss and Luke Campbell pulling right away with her ears pricked. Emerald Trader attacked the line strongly.
Yeah, she wins well, beats Emerald Trader, and Super Romany back in third.
Has been building towards a win all campaign, and this was a lovely ride from Luke Campbell to slot in 1 out, 2 back, and from there, didn't this mare just travel into the race so well? Out to the 1650 yesterday, she just seemed to travel so much better out in trip. They clearly don't go quite as hard over 12 or 1400 metres, but really nice win this. Whether she wants more ground, I'm not sure, but either way, if the team just keep her at a mile, that was a graduation handicap yesterday. She's more than capable of winning a 66 plus or a 72 plus around this type of trip. I think she's certainly a mare to be following throughout this campaign, and generally doesn't mind getting her toe into the ground either.
100%. She has a dynamite mile record, so I think around that distance she finally got to it yesterday, and she was a different horse the way she let down. She last preparation, she obviously unfortunately lost those races, but with her rating coming back down, she's got the scope to be able to progress back up to where she was, and I think there's definitely more wins in store. There's not much of her. She's probably more of a compact style of a mare, but clearly got good ability. Emerald Trader's a horse I've been following this preparation. Tipped into him again yesterday, and I thought his run was super. He was really strong the last 100 metres, how well he ran through the line. He is a really quirky horse, and he needs things to go his way, but he seems a bit more... what's the word? Maybe more tractable, this preparation, to how wayward he's been in previous preps.
Missed the kick a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Holly Watson's getting along with the horse really well.
100%. And I think he's a follow. He's been up in distance before previously as well, so a little bit further shouldn't be an issue for him. He's eligible for those West Speed races as well, so he's a follow for mine. And Super Romani was a nice effort there as well. Outside of those, Reliable Queen appeared to be a nice enough chance on paper, and Scott Embry made a good point immediately after the race yesterday. Said perhaps she's a wet tracker because she just didn't appear to be as strong through the line late.
Yep, only fair yesterday.
Okay, if you're betting on Kempsey and Canamble, keep your money in your pockets. Those two meetings have been abandoned. Let's move on now to race number 6, the Drummond Golf handicap over the 1200 metres from yesterday.
Coming towards the home turn. On the outside, Wiley Girl, Lost City, last of all. King's Honour with a big lead. Can it keep it going, though, being nursed and now being niggled? At the 300, King's Honour led by nearly 2 our Rocky Bay. Objectified, just a bit of press. They're starting to put their runs in with Objectified, just a bit of press coming out after King's Honour. King's Honour joined by Objectify. Objectify reaches the lead, starts to edge clear. Our Rocky Bay had run to second, but Objectify wins. Objectify, one from our Rocky Bay. Just a bit of press or on the...
Pretty impressive win there. Dan Morton's got a nice horse on his hands, beautifully ridden by Brad Parnham. Objectify gets the money.
Absolutely, Marty. Really nice filly there. Good push to see Brad Parnham riding 54 kilos in the middle of winter, and it was certainly worth it because Objectify, she was a dominant winner. Lovely ride from Brad, just had her in a comfortable position, just a little bit worse in midfield and on the back of the pre-post favourite in just a bit of press. Just, exploded down the middle of the track, showed a really nice turn of foot, but I don't think she was electric enough to suggest that she can't run 1,400 metres. I think she's versatile. 12 or 1,400 metres moving forward. Why are you looking at me like that?
Objectify?
Yeah.
Oh, he'll get a mile.
Yeah, okay. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Out of Rantarini, an Oaks winner, Beaumont Oaks winner.
Yeah, so 1,400.
Really? Geez, Rantarini's left a couple of good ones.
Yeah, well, you can buy a half today by Miss Field. Buy Deep Field, Miss Field.
Yep, so...
Get out there.
A brood mare.
Get your hand up.
A broody.
Yeah.
Miss Field, she was a ripping type.
Yeah, ripping type.
That's the half's sister, right?
Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
They breed a good horse, these owners.
Well, and to be fair, they've really got their breeding right with this one. No, nay, never.
I've never heard of the sire, to be honest.
Oh, by Scat Daddy. Beautiful. Beautiful sire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like the way she's finding the line, she could get more ground, and I just think she's a very, very good filly.
Yeah, super progressive. It takes a bit for me to be backing one out of a Class 1 into a Saturday race, but I was really taken with her yesterday and really taken with her win first up. The form was franked with the horse she beat in the midweeks, winning again during the week, and she's a beautiful looking horse. She was a standout there yesterday, so she looks like a type that can keep progressing on her way. Our Rocky Bay's been a good horse these two starts as well. Did back up off a first up run there yesterday, which can always be a bit tricky moving forward. But, he, I should say, has found the line really well. Both starts back, and this is a horse that got out over 2,200 metres, 1,800 metres, actually won over a mile when last in work. So upper distance won't be an issue for him. And King's Honour, I thought, was a good effort first start, 1,200 metres, had to do a bit of work, got across, led, kicked and stuck on well to run third. That opens up a few more doors with him next preparation, because I understand he's off to the paddock. And Just to Press was probably only fair in review. Had Objectify had that horse's back and went straight past him and wasn't able to really go with them over the late stages.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was disappointing. I have a high opinion of this horse. I think he's better than what he's shown.
He's had interrupted prep, hasn't he?
Yesterday, and almost the start prior to some extent. And you have to remember that 7 days before his run 2 starts ago, he was scratched. So I think there was some concerns behind the scenes. And for mine, he's just perhaps going a shade below what he's capable of, and perhaps that's as a result of the mishap or the misrun he did have.
Lost City was a one-trick pony, just a on-pace horse prior to yesterday, but from the wide draw they made the tactical announcement to be going back, and I thought it was a really good run, found the line strongly.
Now, Stodgy Dodd has sent one in. Shout out to veteran trainers Ray Malpass and Darren Pateman, 4 winners at Carnarvon and Broome, so yeah, well done there. Here's Jimmy Pommy Pie, picked up wins at Carnarvon on Who's Your Mama and Bit of Emu, lost most of that at Eagle Farm, couldn't pick anything, then Let's Gallivant to the rescue. Looking forward to a Tash Stash at Kalgoorlie today. Tash Faithful back in action there on the goldfields today. So let's move it on. We'll take a quick break and finish off Racing Rewind.
Cheap seats, then Estimator being hunted along in the centre. Magic D, the Grace, pushing right up along the inside. There's plenty of room to go through. Back in the middle, Hober West to the outside. Life is But a Dream, about to let down. Vampired Play, and another strike is coming around them deeper. At the 250, Cross Statement hit the front. Another strike deep out with Life is But a Dream in pursuit with Estimator back inside of those. Here's Rock and Rupert getting through the middle of the field. Another strike hits the front. Rock and Rupert is starting to charge through. Rock and Rupert right through the middle and has got the money running away. Got a bit of luck on its side, but got the job done, Rock and Rupert, from another strike. Vampired Play, Life is But a Dream.
OK, we won't take a break. We'll go to race number 7, the Peter Luma handicappers, Rock and Rupert for the Caseys, and Kishore Duran getting the money.
And wasn't this a win? I feel like this horse has always promised a win like this, but he just hasn't been able to get the job done for whatever reason. He's always been a little bit of a handful behind the scenes, but yesterday, terrific ride. He was going to be a good thing beat if he didn't get that gap late, but found the line. Keshaw watching the head on. He had to take a tight run throughout, but once he burst through that gap, he found the line really, really nicely. He won that graduation with effortless style. That was his second win at this company, so he's no longer eligible for this grade, but with the way he won yesterday, you'd have to be a brave man to say that he couldn't win a 66 plus or maybe even a 72 plus moving forward.
Has an explosive turn of foot, doesn't he? Really, really impressive. He does a lot wrong pre-race as well, and he gets himself into a bit of a hot lather every start, so he's not the sort of horse you tip from the yard, but, geez, it doesn't affect him when the gates open because he's really, really strong. Another strike, I've always had a liking for this horse. Beautiful type, and he won first up no trial over 1,000 metres, which for a horse that got out to 1,800 metres last preparation, I thought was particularly impressive. And stepping up to a Saturday yesterday, ran a nice second. I think he's a horse to follow. Fairby at play, much better suited back at Belmont. She's racing well. And a couple of horses I want to touch on back in the field. Life is But a Dream did cop a little bump from the eventual winner at about the 150 metre mark, whether she appeared not to be travelling as well at that stage anyway, but that perhaps still took away a little bit from her finishing effort. And also the big one had no luck, and also Hoper West ended up having cardiac arrhythmia, so genuine excuses there.
Life is But a Dream. She was well in the market yesterday. I thought Willie Pike gave her a lovely ride throughout, but maybe just not quite ready for 1,200 metres at this stage of her career. She travelled into the race like she was going to chime in, but I thought was perhaps a fraction vulnerable late, maybe moving forward back to the 1,000. I think she's a nice horse that Jason Hines is going to have plenty of fun with.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Western Empire away from the fence before the home corner, and he's out and he's going following Casino 17. Be Optimistic relegated to last turner, riding along Maracino, and so the Warhorse at the 300 led by 2 on the outside. Casino 17. Be Optimistic coming down the outside with Western Empire. Ginger Baker comes off the fence. Maracino deeper out. Western Empire. Be Optimistic. Western Empire coming back. Ginger Baker, Maracino, and now Let's Gallivant. Driving through. Let's Gallivant has got home to win the Strickland in the middle, just from Western Empire. Ginger Baker, Marriage.
Okay, let's go back now. Listen to the beaten jockeys.
Lucy Fury, Star Trade.
Travelled really good in running. He gave me a feel like he was going to finish up with them at the top, and just coming to the straight just compounded really bad, so it's not his best.
Jared Noski, Casino 17.
Probably just coming into his straight now.
Clint Johnston Porter, Be Optimistic.
Yeah, look, slow run race, and I was stuck on the fence, so I kind of had to get out and make a move. She went really good. She probably needed it a little bit, and if anything, she'll improve off of this.
Thank you. Troy Turner, Maracino.
Yeah, the horse was prime for today, but just unfortunately got rolled the last bit.
Brad Parnham, Ginger Baker.
Yeah, really solid effort. He probably got a little bit keen early, but once he relaxed, he hit the line really solid. Winners were too good, but he was good.
William Pike, Western Empire.
He's probably better at the shorter distances, but credit to the winner, he was too good today.
All right, we've spoken at length about the race. Final words, boys?
Let's Gallivant. Credit where credit is due. We've touched upon him plenty, and him potentially going to the Southwest Autumn Cup, the Southwest Cup in a couple of weeks' time. Western Empire, we've touched upon him as well. He was obviously disappointing in the sense that he was beaten as a $1.35 favourite. He was really well backed. It sounds like he's not going to Melbourne. We know that, and potentially just targets a Perth Carnival. We'll wait and see. Ginger Baker, the third horse, I thought he was really good. He actually wanted to over-race to quite some extent in the early stages of the race, but to still finish off really strongly into third, I thought that was an impressive effort. And Maracino, I thought he was okay. I think plenty of people were keen on his chances. Beaten a length and a quarter, he was okay as well.
Yeah, they didn't appear to go overly fast to the eye, did they? So it was a bit of an ugly watch. There was a mid-race move and some horses got held up, but that made Let's Gallivant's win all the more better, considering he was the one that got held up the most and was actually probably second last at the furlong, and the way he rocketed home was impressive. Western Empire back in distance, I think, would be fine next preparation. Ginger Baker, terrific run after over-racing, and Be Optimistic loomed like the winner on straightening, but just that sustained run in a slowly run race and being a bit of an unorthodox preparation as well, 5 weeks, second up to the 2,000, all probably took its toll.
She's actually going to be a horse to follow for mine.
Yeah, she'll surely go to that race in 2 weeks.
And I think she'll be the horse that I'm keen to back.
Yeah.
Okay, quick one here. Hi, Michael. They've just gone straight to you, Michael. Faithful.
Understandable.
Has there been a jockey name change? In the race books, Natasha is now Tash Faithful in publications. Is there a reason for this?
Well, she does call herself Tash, and I guess it probably would be when jockeys and trainers renew their licences, I think they put their name down, what they want to be known as. So I dare say that she's just put herself down as Tash. And credit has to go to Tash for Let's Gallivant as well. She's been aboard the horse of late, and she was a big push after the Hyperion to try him over the 2,000 metres. So well done to Tash there.
There you go. Chris from Como, and one here from Barry. Barry wants to know, can Tab Radio get their lines right to Belmont on Saturday? I missed Michael's first 3 winners from the yard. So Barry,
I know how you feel,
it's
mate.
not us, Barry. It's them.
It's the Gremlins.
No, look, we are working on it, and I've got to say thanks to Jeff Miller too for coming out and saving the day there yesterday.
It's Peter Volandis.
4 away from 9 o'clock. Here's the last.
Next special sort, Celebrity Prince being niggled at back in the field. Dance Boss looking for a trail home. Count the Sessions looking for a run in the middle. Kalima's got right up near the rail, but outfield's off and gone. At the 275 outfield, raced away by 2 to Playhouse Patron. Special View, Not Secret. Celebrity Prince getting home hard down on the inside. It's outfield the leader. Here comes Dance Boss as well with a wet sail. They've got the leader and running on as well. Playhouse Patron, Celebrity Prince, Dance Boss. They're going to come away. On the inside, Celebrity Prince might have just got it. Maybe Celebrity Prince, a rails hugging right from Pike. Maybe in the last over.
Yes, it was Celebrity Prince. Didn't Dance Boss look like it was going to launch for Bradley, but Celebrity Prince along the inside held it out. Playhouse Patron and outfield, good runs behind them.
Well, to be fair to Dance Boss, I think he did launch. It was just that Willie Pike saved all the ground, as he did all throughout this meeting, and Celebrity Prince, luckless last start. As we so often say, we rarely see Pike get held up twice in a row, and that was the case there yesterday. Celebrity Prince out to 1,400 metres. A clear run to some extent, was able to get the job done. Dance Boss, just keep following him. He is absolutely flying at the moment, and I think Simon Miller has a really good handle on this horse. And Playhouse Patron, that's the second time he's put in a cheeky run fresh. Wasn't actually at a big quote in the end. He started $9.50, so
it's late money for him.
Was well supported late as well.
Yeah, 100%. So keen to keep following Dance Boss. Beautiful type and a ripping run there yesterday. All credit to the winner, though. Terrific ride as well. And Special Sword, I think, has come back particularly well this preparation. Keep an eye on him. Kalima, the luckless runner with Celebrity Prince, unfortunately taking her out.
Okay, just a quick one before we get horses to follow. Is this game live that we're watching here for the under-18s, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Top right corner, live.
Yeah, but that doesn't. That can happen sometimes, and it's on record, Michael.
Okay.
WA 5333 leading South Australia 117. They look the goods.
Number 12 for WA, my player to follow.
It is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
And now horses to follow. Our Rocky Bay, 2 runs back, have been really good, I think. Out to 1,400 metres. He can control the speed, be really hard to beat. Be optimistic in the Southwest Winter Cup. And Kalima, we didn't touch upon her in the last. She was held up and chopped out as a result of that Willie Pike suspension. Her last 100, she actually picked up and found the line well. Continue to follow her.
I agree with all of those. Be optimistic. It'll be a nice chance in a couple of weeks. Emerald Trader, I think, will be winning soon. Objectify is a really nice horse, and Another Strike is as honest as they come. I think he'll keep being in the finish.
Don't forget, racing up on the Goldfields today, Merrill Cup Day, free entry. Make sure you get there. And if you're here in Perth, out to the Magic Million Sales Complex, they've got the winter sale gets underway at 11 o'clock. Thanks to Sophie Stonelayer Ernest to take us through the morning into the afternoon. Plays finished day 3 US Open. DeChambeau leads 7 under from Cantlay, Pavon and McElroy. Have a great day.